What is going on, soccer fans? Welcome to the fifth episode of the Soccer Shots Greater Hartford, Central Connecticut podcast. My name is Seth Willerziak, and this is my co-host, Shannon Perry, who is the owner of the Greater Hartford, Central Connecticut Soccer Shots franchise. Shannon, how you doing today?
Great, Seth. How are you? A little bit warm,
It's
but
warm. It's warm.
About time. But yeah, doing great. Looking forward to getting into it with you.
Yes, absolutely. No, I'm doing well too. Thanks for asking. I just wanted to ask you about last week's episode with Coach Diego and just some quick thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's always great to hear from different coaches, and Diego is got such a wide range of experiences with a wide range of kids, and how he looks at different groups and different ability levels was fascinating. And
Yeah.
And also we're looking forward to him being coach of Barcelona one day or something. I think that was his aspiration. Maybe he's recruiting some young players. This is really part of his secret plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, Diego's phenomenal. He has got a great following with kids, and you can kind of see by his presence and personality why he's so well liked. And he's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. He was a absolute privilege to have him on last week. Had a lot of fun talking with him, getting to see his insights of what it's like to be a Soccer Shots coach. So I thought that was great. But today, there are no guests. It's just the two of us.
What?
Just the two of us. I know. Just the two of us. But it's actually going to be more just you, as I'm going to be sort of interviewing you today, asking you about Soccer Shots and kind of how Soccer Shots compares to other youth soccer programs out there. Why it's better, why it's more family oriented. So I have a few questions lined up for you. Let's if you're ready, let's get into it.
Yeah, my agent didn't tell me this, Seth. I'm not sure I would have come on today.
Oh, I thought he signed the contract though. I was pretty sure. All right,
great.
Let's do it. So the first question today is, what specific elements of the Soccer Shots curriculum set it apart from other youth soccer programs in terms of player development and engagement?
Wow, great question. I've been doing this for 14 years, I think, and I've coached at many different levels and abilities. I think what makes the Soccer Shots curriculum different is really the emphasis on engaging the kids first, and then the soccer second. And there's a lot of focus on how to get the kids interested in what they're going to be doing that day, whether that's a theme, maybe it's the circus. So if we can get them excited about the circus and weave soccer into that, as opposed to flip around, hey, we're going to work on shooting today, and they've got to hit it with their instep and make sure they're plant foot and all that. And then you get into sponge. I think Soccer Shots starts with the fun and engagement piece, then leads into the soccer piece. So
for sure,
I think as coaches, as instructors, understanding that, hey, kids are having fun around a particular theme and using their imagination. I think as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I guess the imagination piece is really what makes it different, and really encouraging kids to own the imagination piece of it as well. I think that's what differentiates us at the young ages. And I think it's the fluidity of the curriculum. It's evolving and it's changing. Whether that's certain games that we're doing, or aspects of the warm up, or the fun game, or the scrimmage. And I guess lastly, I think you'll hear a lot of the emphasis. I probably should have said this earlier, but the emphasis on character word. So each session has a character word, whether it's first one is always respect, and there's teamwork and confidence. So that's what really differentiates us. And I think when we get soccer coaches that come in who've done other things, I think their transition is usually into that piece, not as much the soccer piece, but in the other aspects of it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, that was very well said. I agree with all that. Being a Soccer Shots coach for the past 10 months or so, I would say it's certainly something different that I have never seen before, as I've played soccer for 18 years and gone through different youth programs myself. And it's very different in no way in a bad way. It's in a very good way different. Like you said, that engaging piece is very important. And just like the character, developing their character, and just really having a fun time, and just kind of developing the fundamentals. So yeah, I thought that was answered very well. Nice job with that one. So let's move on to the second question here. The second question is, how does Soccer Shots ensure a family-friendly environment both on and off the field? For example, during sessions, maybe communication with parents, and just overall experience.
The mission of Soccer Shots is to create that beloved experience for the entire family. So, we do our best to make sure that parents know what's going on. Either they can come watch and see what's going on, but also when we're in preschools and that kind of thing, sending out communications. Nothing fancy, but hey, this is what their child did that particular day. We try to be as responsive as we can to families and parents, and I say parents, but it could be any guardian. If your child wants specific, if you want specific feedback around your kid, we can do that. But I think understanding that, yes, what happens for 30, 45 minutes is important, but there's all the other things that go. Are we organized and set up? Do we create a welcoming environment for the families to come in? Because often families are can be as nervous as the kids are, not sure if their kid is doing it correctly or behaving correctly. So just understanding that, the old expression, it takes a village. I think it takes a village for the for the kid to have fun at Soccer Shots, right? So if a parent is frustrated with us, that would probably translate to the child as well, and vice versa. So, it's one, this season, as with so much rain we've had, and communication has been important, and it's hard to keep track of all those things, but it is, when people don't get an email or we make mistakes, sometimes we forget that is a reflection on the experience. It's not just the experience on Soccer Line, but every time they touch Soccer Shots, are we responsive? Are we intentional? That so yeah, it's one of those things where it's interesting. The how the parent feels about Soccer Shots is obviously critically important. They're the ones paying, but they want that experience as well. A lot of families come to Soccer Shots because they've heard about it from someone else. Oh, my kid had so much fun, or they were great with handling this situation. My kid had special needs, and they were phenomenal about that. So just making sure that not just the kid feels comfortable, but everybody feels comfortable with what we're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That I completely agree. I always think about it compared to like other youth soccer programs where it's like the parents, drive them to practice, drop them off. Okay, Billy. Okay, James. See you in 2 hours, and they just leave, and come back and pick them up, and they have no idea like how it's being. Obviously, the kid can tell them, but they have no idea what's really going on. And I think that's what's really cool about Soccer Shots, is that the parents can actually like stay and sort of be involved in a way, like especially with the minis, like they can come onto Soccer Island and help out. And Again, just something that in my many years of playing soccer, I've just never seen before. And I think it's very cool and adaptive and different. And it's
Yeah,
very, very good.
that's a great point, Seth. I think, the minis are often parents are, we need the parents.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
help us as much as anything. And yeah, that is so critically important. And a lot of times we don't know a child. So if a parent can tell us, oh, he loves dinosaurs or she loves airplanes, and we can incorporate that somehow.
Yeah.
That's how parents can help us communicate with the kids, because kids obviously at that age aren't necessarily as talkative, and
Yeah.
don't have a lot of time to connect with them. And so every little nugget can help or hurt. Sometimes we're in situations where I've said this many times, but we're doing the Cookie Monster game, and a child might be just afraid of the word monster. We need to know that, and
Yeah.
parents can help us out that way. So,
Absolutely.
I like to think of parents and families as partners in their kids' development. And the more we know about a child, the more it can help us. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Completely agree with that. Yeah, I think Soccer Shots does a fantastic job being just very, very family friendly compared to other youth soccer programs out there. It's just something that you got to come out and see for yourself. So as a parent watching. All right, that was great. Let's get into the third question here. So, with your many years here at Soccer Shots, uh, have you received any feedback, or what feedback have you received from parents that sort of reflects how Soccer Shots stands out as more than just a sports program? Have parents sort of reflected on this and anything, and kind of, stated like, oh yeah, like more than just, oh yeah, my son or daughter had a great time kicking a ball? Have parents like given more than that?
Excuse me. Yeah, I had a child this season. Yeah, who I think came 8-week season, and I think this child came every single week. I don't know if he touched a soccer ball the entire season, but he sure loved coming to Soccer Shots, because
Nice.
he really loved Coach Shannon, and he would
Mhm.
he'd come running over, and so it was always funny talking with the mom and say, she would apologize, but he sure does love coming, and all he does is talk about you all week. And I think that'd be a situation, in a traditional soccer program, you might talk to parents, say, I don't know if he's ready, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not be willing to meet them where they are. But
Right,
I
right,
think
right.
the word that comes to mind is care. You just seem like you care about this. We'll call him Sam or like that. But
Yeah.
Sam feels like he really cares about you, and you're really interested in what he has to say. And that's so different from other things where, not to disparage other programs, but they might have just someone who's just rolling some balls out, doesn't know any of the names. So I think that's a big thing. And I'm thinking of another child who really was very shy the entire season, but all of a sudden when it was time to help pick up and that kind of thing was great, and acknowledging that. So just acknowledging the non-soccer things that they do, and just making that experience. Seth, I know you and I have talked about this. The first thing is they have to love coming to soccer, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you can figure out a way to do that, the soccer piece will come. But yeah, I had the good fortune of attending, and I've been asked this so many times over the years. I get a group of 4 and kids who are going to kindergarten, and they always invite me, oh, Coach Shane, you got to come to our graduation. We're, they're graduating preschool and they're going on to kindergarten. I've never been able to go. And this preschool, I get to do it this season. And it was so cool to hear from parents who I'd not met, because we were at a school, and, see them and talk to them about their kid. And they would just talk about all the things their kids would talk about. Some of them were soccer, and some of them weren't soccer. This one parent's like, he said he went through outer space last week, and then he was, putting out fires this week. we thought we signed them up for soccer, and they were kind of they were nice about it, but it was they were kind of joking about it. It was
Yeah,
pretty fun
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
So, but all he wants to show me is this new move he learned. So,
Yep.
so
Nice.
I think that kind of, that's why I stress to our coaches, learn their names, get to know them,
For sure.
and that'll make the connection for them. But yeah, I think parents are sometimes surprised that we care so about the kid, and we're
For
not
sure.
just trying to produce the next Ronaldo or Messi or whoever it is.
Yeah. No, I think you said it really well there. Especially, compared to other programs where, you were saying like, yeah, they might just, might be just rolling the balls out there, don't know their names, just kind of going through the motions almost of just a soccer practice. And here it's just very different. I mean, it's a very warm and comforting environment on Soccer Island, as we know, and as many of our parents have seen. Get to know their names, and do obviously teach them soccer skills, but it's more than that. At the end of the day, it's more than just a soccer program. It's it's really a developmental tool, I guess, for kids, just socially, emotionally, just really to help them just become more confident and feel better in themselves at a young age, which can definitely be separate them from others.
Yeah, I think I think what separates Soccer Shots is that I think we understand, and that the reasons why folks sign up for Soccer Shots, and they did it. Soccer Shots did a survey coming out of COVID, not long after COVID, and soccer was, I think, the third or fourth reason why families were signing up their kid. There was a lot of those things you just talked about.
Oh yeah, yep.
I remember the social reasons. It was having some structure.
For sure.
It was physical agility and moving and physical, and as well as mental acuity and learning different things, and then soccer. So rather than, hey, they're signing up just for soccer, and we all know what sports and fitness can do for the whole person. And I think if more youth organizations, sports organizations in particular, understood the benefits beyond the sport of why they sign up and appreciate that, I think youth sports would be better served. And I think Soccer Shots does a pretty good job of understanding why families are in there in the first place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with that. All right, awesome. That was very good for question number 3 there. Let's move on to question 4 here. So, next question here. In what ways does Soccer Shots support character development and social skills in addition to physical soccer skills? I know we've touched on this a little bit already.
Yeah, we've touched on it. Obviously there's the character word. We try to weave in to each session a different character word each week, and building on that each week, and that bleeds into obvious things like respect. You don't push and shove your friends. You keep your hands to yourself, and being patient. So all those kinds of things that are weaved into a soccer session, which, oh, by the way, helps you become a better soccer player.
Absolutely.
Respecting your teammates, being patient, waiting your turn, being confident, and teamwork, and all those things. So I think that's something often athletes, all of us as athletes, we kind of take for granted, that we're going to be a good teammate, we're confident, all this, and it's not really talked about. That much is the mental side of sports. Not that we're sports psychologists. Well, in a way we are, I guess. Talking about the mental piece of being an athlete and being a person, right? So I think that's always comes to mind. As I think about some of the coach trainings we've done over the years, we spend as much time talking about the mental and the communication piece as we do about the soccer piece. And I think that's something, you're a soccer player. Almost like we forget that to teach soccer, which obviously we do, but forgetting all the other things that that go into life, right? So it's 30 minutes of their week or 40 minutes of their week. They've got another, I don't know, I can't do the math, but however many minutes there are a week, where they got to be patient, they got to be confident, they got to learn all those things. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I mean, I'm just thinking about when I was a kid and I was playing youth soccer at different, town programs, park and rec, travel, whatever it was. I mean, we were just strictly learning soccer, and that was it. It was, you get to the field, put your shin guards in, get your cleats on, and then you're out warming up, kicking balls around, running laps. Like, there was no theme or no character word or no rules or no, nothing to really that would help develop my character or social skills. I mean, sure, physically I got better, of course, but those other areas, socially, and just like character wise, wasn't really growing there. And I think Soccer Shots does a great job encompassing all of that together: character, social skills, mental and physical skill, all in one, all wrapped up in one 30-45 minute session. You get all of it combined together, and it always turns out really nicely. So yeah, I think Soccer Shots does a great job at that.
Yeah, and we get the kids at such an important time in their lives, their early journey where they're still forming ideas and things, right? So we're the first coach, their first teammate, their first time they, some of them have kicked the ball. It's the first time they heard the word passing. So it's a lot of firsts, and what they take away from that is going to be the foundation for their nexts, right? So
right.
So it's important what we do and how we do it, and whether or not they go on to a next. If they have a horrible taste or horrible experience, imagine what that can do to the psyche of a young mind and young heart about creating fear, and that's completely counter to what we're trying to do, and what any coach or teacher or mentor should be trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah, couldn't agree more with that. That was awesome. Now let's move on to our fifth question here. And you touched on it a little bit in this last question about the coaches training and what we kind of teach them. That's kind of where I'm headed with this one. So how do we here at Soccer Shots as a team kind of train and support coaches to align with the family-friendly, child-first mission of Soccer Shots?
I think, that's a great question. The first thing I try to get coaches to understand is, you are Soccer Shots to that particular kid. Yes, we have a logo. Yes, we have all these other things and orange and curriculum and all that, but it is, you cannot mail it in, and because you are Soccer Shots, you are the brand, you are going to be the ultimate impact on that experience to the child, to the family, and what folks think about Soccer Shots is going to be what they think about you, and I always say to a coach, honor your impact, honor your impact, and really understand that you have an impact. You don't have a choice. You have the choices whether or not you're going to have a good impact or not good impact.
Right.
And embrace that. And so I think that's what we try to get coaches to understand, and we try to reinforce as much as possible.
For sure.
I think that's coaches, I think sometimes like kids, our newer coaches are sometimes intimidated, and that can feel like a lot. Oh my gosh. But that is so important, and also be a learner. And if you go in there and be a learner, and the kids will say the craziest things, and they'll talk about things that you don't know, and they're often smarter than you give them credit for, and they know much more you give them credit for. So be that learner, and what you do a great job with, Seth, is have fun, right? So if you're going to have fun, they're going to have fun. And and as a parent, I've been a parent. I'm I'm still a parent. They're just, but you want to see your kids having fun. There's nothing that warms your heart as a parent is when your
For
kid is
sure.
smiling, no matter at what age, smiling and moving, and also
Yeah.
tired at the end, so they go home and nap.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But it's a gift. We have a privilege here. It's a privilege when a parent hands off their 2, 3, 4, whatever age kid, and says, you know, this person is your responsibility for the next. That is a gift. They don't
Yeah.
have to do that, and so understand that. And I was asking, who was your first coach, or who was your greatest mentor? Go way back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody knows. Everybody's got an
Everyone
answer
has that guy. Yeah.
for that, good or bad. So
Yeah. No, for sure. That was great. I kind of just want to add a second part to that question. How would you say that we here at Soccer Shots, in terms of training our coaches, um, what's different about how we train our coaches here compared to if you went to a park and rec program and saw coach and their coaches and how they're trained? What's different about that, so our audience can get a understanding?
yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think of times when I've been trained or seen it. I think kind of some things we talked about already is emphasizing the communication with the kid,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and not just the rules of the game, right? So as a
Right.
coach, coach training, sessions at parks, and there's good programs and not so good programs, but what I hear from when we've had coaches come from somewhere else is the amount of structure we put into what a soccer shot session should look like. So we try
Yeah.
to support the coaches as much as possible, and try to create a kind of a laboratory where they're learning. And also we want feedback from our coaches also. So we're not just top down, but hey, what's working, what is not working, what are you
Yep.
doing that's different? What are you seeing from Coach Seth or Coach Diego or Coach Jess or whatever? But I feel like the coaches we've had have been they feel like we care about them and care about their success, and give them the tools to succeed. We try to anyway, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we do understand that the coaches are the most important part of it. And when we have challenges, whether we hear from parent, we try to fix it. We do our best, because everything else is just it's just the sizzle, and not the coaches the steak, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I always think that's interesting to think about, because here I feel like we always stress to our coaches that uh, like you were talking about earlier, to just have fun. Like at the end of the day, the most important thing on Soccer Island is to just have fun. Whereas, maybe in other youth programs, other town park and rec programs, like um, not saying that those coaches don't have fun, but that might not be their number one priority. That's sort of their priority is, okay, I need to develop my team. I need to teach these skills, teach these tactics, get them ingrained in the kids' head. That's more their focus. We're here at Soccer Shots. Yes, of course, we have our curriculum that we and our skills each week that we want to teach them. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to have fun. Like we just want to we want the kids to have fun. We want the parents to have fun. We want to have fun as coaches. And I think that's really what differentiates us from those other programs, just really that fun factor.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with playing, and
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
an early childhood educator or something, but you hear so much about learn through play, and learning. And I think you also hear let the game be the teacher and learn through play. And I think not focusing on the score. They'll have plenty of time to focus on the score later in life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, I think that's what we try to emphasize. I think sometimes, parents are surprised. Oh, I didn't, that's what it is, and they're often glad. I mean, we've had situations where they kind of age out of soccer shots and they go on and they want to come back because it was so much fun. They were just playing soccer, and and the coach was involved rather than just being a drill sergeant or going through drills and that
absolutely. Kind of. Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with that. And to close out our little podcast today, I just wanted to ask you to leave our audience with something here. Why should someone sign up for Soccer Shots?
Because they get to have Coach Seth, who's going to go to Disney World, and he's going to come back with all these different ideas, and Mickey Mouse is going to be flying around Soccer Island, and Donald Duck and all this.
Maybe I'll bring back some of the characters with me. There you go.
Yeah, I think, you know, why should you sign up for Soccer Shots is, you know, for if you'd like your child to have that experience, that first grade experience, or even second or third experience where the coaches care, it's going to be fun, you're going to get active, you know, you're going to be able to take a break for some time if your kid is a little bit older, but you know, you sign up knowing that we care about your child's development, and we also care about you, and we want your input on it, and we want to hear from you. And you know, our coaches try so hard to have an impact and be positive with your kid. And
absolutely.
I can honestly say that you know, you've got to care about kids before soccer. You've got to care about kids if you're coming into this, and sure. We don't bring anyone in unless they can care about kids. So if you want a great experience, and your kid to learn in a fun way, I think Soccer Shots is a great place for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. That is a great way to end it here. Well, I just want to thank you, Shannon. Those were, I know, not the easiest questions, but I thought you answered them beautifully. So great job with that. So yeah, we want to thank everyone for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed the 5th episode of the Soccer Shots Greater Hartford, Central Connecticut podcast. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Comment what soccer related topics you would like us to talk about next. And most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This is Seth and Shannon signing off. And remember to always enjoy the beautiful game.